What's up, guys? Mr. Dan here, back again for Martial Arts Monday. Just on a programming note, next Monday there will not be a video for Martial Arts Monday. Hopefully the week after that I will have one, and I'll have some other videos up during that week as well. So please come back again in the future. I will most likely be doing The Prodigal Son next, but we'll have to see. That film is directed by Sammo Hung, as is this one, Knockabout, starring Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao, and Lung Kar-yan, aka Beardy, who is back to having a beard in this one, okay? And this is the type of role that he's more known for, I believe, okay? In the last film, he played sort of the master that had the fake gray hair. In this film, somebody else gets to do that, and I can't go back and forth with all the names. So I'm just going to stick to about 3 names here to keep it simple and to keep the video going. So yeah, this is more of a typical role for him, and Yuen Biao plays alongside of him, and there are a couple of con men, and then there's a beggar played by Sammo Hung, who has a monkey, as you can see. So he's kind of an outlier, and at the end, his character will become much more significant. He'll step in and sort of help these guys out. And they basically have a confrontation with an older, mysterious man in the beginning, and they kind of get their asses beat. So then they decide to become pupils of his, as is often the case. And slowly people start to turn up gunning for this old man, and there's some confrontations with some very colorful henchman-type figures. Eventually, they learn that he's keeping a secret, and things are not as they seem, and then Sammo Hung has to step in and sort of help them for a final confrontation. That's about all I'm going to say about the plot. This one is mostly comedy. In the last film, Warriors 2, I mentioned that there was some comedy in the beginning, and then they got into the vengeance plotline, and I was surprised that some of the comedy came back at the end, including some really, very heavy comedy, like people, urinating on themselves and things. I mean, goofy comedy. This one is mostly that, with one kind of poignant surprise death about 75% of the way through. That kind of, in another movie it would be very impactful, and it is in this one, I guess, but then they go back to the comedy. And what am I talking about? How broad is this? One of the characters is beaten up to the point where every time they hit him, a giant bump rises up on his head until he's got like 7 or 8 of these giant bumps. And I'm talking like from the cartoons. Remember the cartoons when someone would get hit with a hammer and there would be like a giant bump or lump, and it looks not great. The makeup effects in these are oftentimes not the greatest, and as I've commented before, these arrow treatments are great. They look fantastic, but they don't do the makeup effects any favors. Now, as far as the martial arts go, Yuen Biao is amazing in this. This is one of his first chances to sort of step out into the center. He had most often worked as a stuntman and an extra in these films, and he really acquits himself well. First of all, he's in phenomenal shape. I mean, he's ripped, and he moves well. Sammo Hung's style, apparently there's a word for it, which translates loosely to mishmash, and you can kind of see that. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Of course, there's a secret technique they have to learn. Somebody has a secret snake style that they have to counter, as is often the case. There's some kind of technique they have to perfect to achieve victory. And there's one really good training sequence where someone has a rope tied to a tree and they're swinging it and making someone not just jump the rope, but do all kinds of techniques in while they're jumping it. I mean, all of these guys, Jackie Chan, Yuen Biao, Sammo Hung, they were also acrobatic and just amazing. Yeah, and really, this role by Yuen Biao is almost one that you could see a Jackie Chan of a few years later playing, when he was like doing the comedy martial arts stunt films. Because in the previous film that I reviewed with Chan, he was still, in a supporting serious role, the John Woo film that I reviewed. But yeah, this is fun. So is it for you? Well, let me ask you this. Are you in the mood for a goofy comedy with some martial arts? Or are you really interested in seeing an early film directed by Sammo Hung, or an early film starring Yuen Biao? If the answer is yes, then this film, you'll have a good time with this. If you're in the mood for a more serious or typical martial arts film, then I would stick to something like, you know, Five Venoms or 36 Chambers of Shaolin or One Arm Boxer, Shaolin Plot, you know, one of those. But so this might be more of interest for diehard fans, but I still recommend it. Have you seen this? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.